Summer in Seattle, Washington. Yesterday was sunny and 80 degrees. Today it's overcast, cold, cloudy, and about to rain. Thunderbolts and lightning, very, very frightening me. If you automatically knew the next line of that song, I want to hang out with you. You know, I get a lot of emails and comments from people asking me how I take care of my bike, how I get it ready for the track weekend, what kind of tires I'm running on it. You know, I thought it would be great to put together the top 5 things that you have to do to get ready for a track weekend on your motorcycle. It's a great episode. Come on, let's go inside. I'm here at Vallantine Motor Works in Seattle, Washington. We're going to be talking with certified master mechanic Marc Eddy. Marc has been wrenching on my bikes for over 10 years. He's a fantastic guy. He's a track rider, an enduro rider, a long distance rider, and he's just a heck of a nice guy. In fact, this is Marc right here. Marc, thanks so much for having us out.
Welcome. Thanks for coming.
Well, I'm excited to be here and talk to you about the top 5 things that we can do safety-wise to get our bike ready for a weekend at the track.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
I'm not. Hold on. Let me get changed really quick. And I'm ready. I hate getting dirty. I brought safety goggles. Will I need them?
Maybe.
Let's go. I mean, right away, long-time viewers of this channel are going to know this is not my bike. This is Marc Eddy's bike. And what is this? This is a Suzuki
SV650.
Love it. And this is a bike you ride at the track?
Yes. And it's street legal too.
Well, let's start with back, forward, and bottom up. Let's talk about tires. That's probably one of the most important things at the track. And when they do a tech inspection, what are they looking for in a track tire?
Tread depth is a big one. Tire type, meaning how slick and how grippy it is, and pressure.
Okay.
You know, a lot of this will cross over right to the street as well.
Right.
Tires are super important. Techs are going to be looking for depth. Do you have enough tread on there to last the day? They usually like 50% or more on there. So if your tire's almost worn out, they're not going to like you out there, because they do get slippier when they get worn, because the tire doesn't move around as much. It doesn't grip. It doesn't stretch. You see this tire's been on the track before.
Yeah, I was going to say, you got these great little rubber balls here from the outside. You were saying this is a dual tread?
Dual compound.
Dual compound. What does that mean when you're looking at a tire like that?
In the center you have a harder compound for longevity when you're driving down the freeways, but on the side you've got a grippier section for when you do go around a corner, you want it to grip and not slide. And you can see that on this tire, where at the track I'm actually pulling the rubber down and off, and you can see that line where it splits to a compound.
Right. Talking about riding on the street or versus the track, you want the tire pressure a little higher when you're on the street and lower when you're at the track?
There's a couple of reasons. Temperature. If the tire is pumped up higher, it's not going to raise as much, it's not going to heat up as much. Where on the track, you're going to heat that up, you're moving it more, you're going to want it lower so it comes up to the proper temperature and doesn't overinflate when it gets hot.
Okay.
Whereas on the street, you're more adjusting pressure for load. You got saddlebags on there, 2 up, you're going to want that tire up so it doesn't get too hot because all the stress you're putting on it.
Right.
So yeah, you have to be aware on how heavy your motorcycle is, how hot the track is, you know, and how much you're going to be using it.
Right.
You need to get that up to temperature so it sticks. You need to bring that tire up, so the first 2 laps will be working that tire, waking it up, getting it up to temperature where it can perform the way it needs to perform.
Nice. Yeah. So let's move from the tire forward down to the chain. Talking about the chain, the amount of tension it should have in it, how much give, sway, and then maybe from the chain moving out to the sprocket.
Okay. You need to be tight, but not too tight, you know, so you can see this is moving about 1 inch or so. There's always usually a sticker on your motorcycle that's going to tell you how much free play. Okay. Now what that free play does is when your swing arm goes up and extends a little bit, it gets tighter. If your chain's tight right now, when that suspension goes up, it pulls that chain too tight. What it does is it pulls on that rear wheel and pulls on your motor, and it's actually binding.
Okay.
So chain play is very important. They're going to be looking at the proper amount of play, not too much because then it can throw a chain, not too tight because then it can damage components.
Okay.
As well as chain condition. If you go in there with a rusty chain, a dry chain,
right.
you know, they're looking at overall maintenance on your cycle. So they're going to be looking at your chain play, lube, and your sprocket teeth.
Okay, great. So let's move forward now and talk maybe a little bit about pegs and pedals and what tech inspectors will be looking at for safety out on the track.
They don't want you driving out there and have a peg fall off. So they check tightness. They probably, you know, might check springs, but they will be looking at shifters if they're bent. Really, they don't want that stuff falling off.
As far as handlebars and throttle snaps and
levers, they're going to be snapping all your levers. They're going to be moving your steering to each stop and snapping that throttle to make sure that throttle comes back. Because again, the last thing they want you to do is crash or crash someone else.
Okay.
So all those safety items that should be second nature.
Maybe we should talk a little bit about the brakes and rotors.
Brake pads are probably more like the tires as well. They want 50% on there. They might let you go out there if there's less, but if they're metal to metal, they're going to send you home. So they want enough pad material to last a day and more. We mentioned steering stops. They also sometimes will dynamically push your cycle around down on the suspension. They're checking steering head bearings. They don't want any clunking. This one only goes about 125 out there.
I would just like to point out too that he said only 125.
Yeah.
Well, think about that as you're driving to work.
But that's down the straight, the top speed.
Well, thank you so much. I think you've given everybody a lot to think about. And if you do have any questions, please drop them in the comments below. If there's anything we didn't cover that you'd like to know, I can always follow up with Mark and post those up. Mark, thank you so much.
No problem. Thanks for coming down.
Well, that's great. And what do I have to do to get one of those shirts?
$10.
Damn it. Is that the employee discount? Because I mean, I'm working here.
That is.
All right, okay. Thanks, Mark. Appreciate it. That's a classic handshake. Thanks. Well, thanks so much for joining me this episode. I hope you learned something that'll help keep you safe while you're out riding your motorcycle, and I will see you out on the highway. I'm never taking this off. Mark, your coffee biscuits are terrible.
That's a dog bone. Where'd you find that?
Oh, so I guess this isn't coffee?
That is not. This is our wall of shame. This shows some components that have been used to the extreme, and we hang them up because they are fairly interesting to look at. Some of the items here weren't noticed by the customers. They've come in for other issues. This is a brake pad. Well, this is what's left of a brake pad. This is probably the worst I've seen. This is the backing plate, and then the caliper piston came through it. That is about as bad as you can get. We've got some sprockets up here that we discussed earlier. You can see there's no more teeth on that. They get bent over and they start breaking off. The motorcycle will fail to move if they get any smoother than this. But it's just a safety issue. Sometimes the chain can derail and then go into your engine case and destroy everything. We've got some rotors here that, as you can see, they're not flat anymore. They're dished, overheated, used up, bad. But again, all you have to do is look at your cycle and you can kind of figure out that those parts don't look normal. They look a little odd.